You are watching this on a day in the not-so-distant future where you wake up and realize there's no oxygen. For the first time ever, the Earth has run out of oxygen and there is no more air to breathe. You step outside your home to get a breath of fresh air, but all that greets you is an empty, silent world. The sky is clear, the sun is shining, but there is no wind and not a single leaf or blade of grass moves. As you walk further, you start to notice strange things happening around you. Birds fall from the sky, their wings frozen mid-flap. Fish float lifelessly on the surface of the water. Even the mighty elephant collapses to its knees, unable to take another breath. But what exactly is happening? What would the world be like if we ran out of oxygen? Let's find out. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to explore a hypothetical situation where the Earth suddenly runs out of oxygen. We'll discuss what would happen to humans, animals, and the environment as a whole. Let's dive right in. As you may have guessed, life on Earth as we know it depends on oxygen. This colorless, odorless gas makes up 21% of our atmosphere and is essential for the survival of most living organisms. Through the process of cellular respiration, living cells use oxygen to convert food into energy. In fact, the majority of the Earth's biomass is oxygen. So, if our planet were to suddenly lose this vital resource, the consequences would be catastrophic. Oxygen is also responsible for supporting combustion. Most fires require three elements to burn: heat, fuel, and oxygen. Without oxygen, most fires would go out, plunging the world into darkness. Moreover, oxygen is involved in many chemical reactions and industrial processes, such as steelmaking and rocket propulsion. So an oxygen shortage would have far-reaching implications for human society. But what would happen if the Earth lost access to oxygen for just 5 minutes? 5 minutes may not sound like a long time, but it would be enough time for some strange and unsettling things to happen. First, let's consider how humans would fare in an oxygen-free world. Humans need a constant supply of oxygen to survive. When we inhale, oxygen passes from our lungs into our bloodstream, where it binds to red blood cells. This oxygen-rich blood is then transported throughout our body, delivering vital oxygen to our cells. If we were to lose access to oxygen for even a few minutes, the consequences could be dire. Within seconds, we would begin to experience shortness of breath as our body's oxygen stores become depleted. After about a minute or so, our brain would start to suffer from oxygen deprivation, leading to confusion, disorientation, and possibly unconsciousness. Within 5 minutes, our organs would begin to shut down one by one, leading to cardiac arrest and death. But what about animals? Animals like birds, which need more oxygen than mammals to sustain their high metabolism, would likely suffer even more severe consequences. As their oxygen levels drop, birds would become disoriented and their heart rate would increase dramatically. Within a few minutes, their muscles would become paralyzed and they would be unable to fly or even move. Similarly, fish, which extract oxygen from water through their gills, would also struggle to breathe in an oxygen-deprived world. Their gills would collapse, and their bodies would quickly become poisoned by a buildup of carbon dioxide. Many aquatic animals would suffocate within just a few minutes. So what about plants? Plants use a process called photosynthesis to convert sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into energy. Unlike animals, plants do not require oxygen for cellular respiration. However, that doesn't mean they would thrive in an oxygen-free world. Photosynthesis would continue as normal, but the buildup of oxygen produced during photosynthesis could harm the plants themselves. Additionally, an oxygen-free environment could lead to the death of beneficial insects and microorganisms that plants rely on for pollination and nutrient uptake. Another important ecosystem process that would be affected by the loss of oxygen is decomposition. Decomposers such as bacteria and fungi play a vital role in breaking down dead organic matter and recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. However, these organisms, like all others, would need oxygen to survive. Without oxygen, decomposition would come to a standstill. leading to the buildup of dead matter and a disruption in the flow of nutrients. Now let's take a closer look at what would happen during those crucial 5 minutes when the Earth loses oxygen. The first thing you might notice is that the sky is filled with falling birds and panicked animals. Many animals, especially birds, would be unable to sustain their flight or movement and would collapse to the ground. Fish would be seen floating on the surface of lakes and rivers, gasping for air. People would be seen running frantically through the streets, desperately trying to find a place to hide. Some would collapse to their knees, unable to breathe. As you walk through the streets, you might see people and animals alike frozen in mid-motion, caught forever in the act of trying to escape the suffocating airlessness. Cars would be abandoned on the roads, their engines sputtering and dying. The silence would be deafening, broken only by the occasional thud of a falling body. It would be a scene of utter chaos and despair, a stark reminder of how fragile life is and how dependent we are on the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystem. After just 5 minutes without oxygen, the world would look like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Most living things would be dead, leaving behind a haunting reminder of what once was. A small number of animals, such as turtles and certain species of frogs, may survive due to their ability to hold their breath underwater for extended periods. However, even these creatures would eventually succumb to the lack of oxygen. It's hard to imagine a world without oxygen, yet it's a reality we may face sooner rather than later. Human activities such as deforestation and the burning of fossil fuels are depleting the Earth's oxygen levels at an alarming rate. While we may never run out of oxygen completely, it's essential to take steps to protect this vital resource for future generations. By reducing our consumption, promoting sustainable practices, and investing in renewable energy, we can ensure that our planet remains a habitable place for all living things. As you reflect on the fragility of life on Earth, you may feel a renewed sense of urgency to protect the environment. It's a sobering thought that our actions today could impact the very air we breathe tomorrow. But it's also a call to action. By making changes in our own lives and advocating for change on a larger scale, we can help preserve the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystem for generations to come. Imagine a world where clean air is scarce and the very air we breathe is a luxury. It may seem like a far-fetched scenario, but the reality is that our planet's oxygen levels are declining at an alarming rate. Human activities such as deforestation and the burning of fossil fuels have depleted the Earth's oxygen reserves, making it more difficult for us to breathe. If this trend continues, we may face a future where oxygen is rationed and clean air is a luxury reserved for the wealthy. In this dystopian future, the world would be a shadow of its former self. Cities would be deserted, buildings abandoned, and nature reduced to a distant memory. The air we do manage to breathe would be filled with pollutants and toxins, leading to widespread respiratory problems and other health issues. It would be a world where every breath is a gamble, where the air we breathe could be our last. It may seem like a grim and terrifying future, but the reality is that this is a future we are creating for ourselves. If we fail to take action now, we could be facing an oxygen crisis in our lifetime. But all hope is not lost. By making changes in our own lives and advocating for change on a larger scale, we can help protect the Earth's oxygen levels for future generations. It's a responsibility we owe not only to ourselves, but to every living thing on the planet. The Earth's oxygen levels may seem like a distant concern, but the reality is that they are vital to our survival. We must act now to protect this precious resource and ensure a healthy future for our planet. Thank you for joining us on this thought-provoking journey through a world without oxygen. We hope we've inspired you to appreciate the fragility of life on Earth and the importance of protecting our planet's delicate balance. Remember, every breath you take is a reminder of the incredible complexity and beauty of the natural world. So go out today and breathe deeply, knowing that you are part of something truly special.